This is Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and I just want to go and look at my largest inga tree that's been flowering for 3 years and try to see if there's some fruit on there. And I'll also talk a little bit about my discussion I had with the Biodynamic Certifying Manager. I strongly believe in biodynamic principles and management. Up until I had my on-farm personal interview for certification. All my information that I supplied to them was approved. I always told them that I apply raw manure, and I've been making these videos and trying to be an influencer to fix Florida's ecological problems through the growing of rare tropical fruit trees biodynamically. I don't think you have to be biodynamic to be successful. I think that you can take aspects of their program, like their horn manure, ferment your cow manure. You do want the anaerobic biology, especially in Florida, where it's mostly water below the soil surface. So the roots are mostly going to be in a non-aerated situation. So you need those plant-enabling microbes here in Florida, the anaerobic ones. The anaerobics are that have morphological capabilities that can turn on and off whether they are anaerobes or aerobes. All our modern composting methods that they still preach, aerating and heat treating and turning, I don't agree with, because those are just designed to kill microbiology. That's not what you want. Oh, my koi mucks are getting quite large. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, we need all the biology. We don't know what all the biology is. That's the whole problem. And to just discount all the stuff you don't know and pick a few microbes that you do know and design a system around those few microbes that eradicates all the other microbes that you don't know anything about, or we're starting to know. We now know that anaerobic microbes are the microbes that grow inside plant cell walls that are plant beneficial and obviously are needed in their microbiome and our microbiome, because we get them in our microbiome by eating them. They have found that the new seeds that they've developed in recent years have do not form relationships with the anaerobic microbes because they've been bred out of because of the nutrient balancing, the nitrogen. Everything's focused on nitrogen balancing. It's a joke. If you're adding nitrogen, you're going to disable the microbes' abilities to do their job. Period. That's how it works. And all these colleges with their, it really is, it's embarrassing when you look online. And then that's where people get their information. Studies done at colleges, controlled studies done at colleges that are incorrect. It's like we have to undo all the damage caused and rewrite our agronomy knowledge that we provide to people. And I think that I kind of really piss everyone off because I show what's wrong with the stuff they teach. Or I piss off the mulch people, the wood chip people. Well, big piles of wood chip compact the soil, and you know it doesn't encourage microbial life below ground. Most of your wood chips go up into the air, but if you add wood chips to this, to a healthy orchard floor, then they kind of eat them all up. So when I talk to I'm trying to look at this tree and talk at the same time. This is the biggest inga tree that I have, and I really want some fruit off this tree. It's been a long time coming. So when I talk to the Biodynamic Certifying Manager, because I just hadn't been able to sleep, and I was like stressed out that they slapped me down for applying cow manure and told me I couldn't do it. And he said that really wasn't correct. And I'm like, well, I quoted the Biodynamic Farm standard, and he said, well, are the cows doing it naturally? I said, well, yeah, they're doing it naturally, but I moved the manure 20 feet into my orchard floor. And nowhere in the farm manual says you can't do that. This is something that obviously they've come to the conclusion they need, and I believe it was done by the market gardeners or the monocrop vineyard growers. The biodynamics, they only cater to the very wealthy growers, it seems. It's like Dr. That does all the moringa stuff. I forget his name. And the moringa pills, and then the large vineyards. That's all it was. That's all you could find on Biodynamic. All their information is relating to the vineyards and, the glory of biodynamic wine. And it kind of diminishes the overall picture of biodynamics. And they don't like me pointing this stuff out, obviously. That's why they told me the only input I can apply, the only fertilizer I can apply was biodynamic compost. It's hard enough. It was hard enough. It's easy to be organic here in Florida, but if you only are applying one input, I don't believe it would be that easy. Just applying biodynamic compost. It could be. I know that I have a farm, another piece of property that has fruit trees on it, and the only input I applied was biodynamic compost one time last year after 10 years of growing fruit trees continuously. They were organic by neglect. I planted them and walked away and never watered them. Longans, lychee, sugar apples, atemoyas, mangoes. But after I applied the compost, everything grew. And I did it in such small amounts. And fruited, a lot of it. The mangoes fruited for the first time. The longans grew huge. So it probably can be done with just biodynamic compost, but I don't know. I have been using the manure and animals crap. I think that's that's nutrient cycling. That's what it's been historically. Biodynamics has not been around that long. So how did all the farmers, before biodynamics came around 100 years ago, how did all the farmers grow stuff without biodynamic compost? telling me that I can only apply biodynamic compost is going against nature and the historical farm methods, successful farming methods that have been practiced by humans for thousands of years. It's the manure. It is the manure. We cannot make a better product for growing plants than nature can. It's just impossible until we can identify all the processes involved, which is never going to happen because there's just so many things that are involved. A lot of times when the stuff falls off, it looks like fruit, but it's not. And people think it gets knocked off. No, it just wasn't fruit. It was just the shell of the flower. So this, I really had a long conversation with this biodynamic certifier, and he wouldn't tell me it's okay to use manure. He just would not say it was okay. I said, I'm going to continue to use it. I told you people that it was an input. It's not a big surprise. Why now is it a problem? Probably because I don't sit and talk about biodynamic compost in every freaking video. Sorry, it's just not that exciting. It works. Yes, it works. But I know I can grow tropical fruit seeds in it because that's how I used to do all my tropical fruit seeds. They grow great in biodynamic compost. But I found that you can also do it in pure cow manure, zebu manure, which, according to the certifier that came here, probably isn't allowed. I never even discussed it with her. I was so upset that they told me I couldn't do what I was doing, that I had to just only apply biodynamic compost. The stupidest thing I ever heard. Sorry, biodynamic people. That's how I feel about that. If you have a market garden, yeah, you probably can't apply raw manure every day like I do. Yeah, then I would agree with that. But we are not a market garden. We are a naturally growing tropical fruit trees in an unmowed orchard floor system without water. We do know that the tropical fruit trees, clones, you can make cuttings, cut a branch off of your favorite tropical fruit trees like the star apple and your garcinias, the MBs, and the other tropical fruit trees, and pick up cow manure and add water, crumble it up and add water to it, or add water to it, then crumble it up. And I didn't see any fruit. And grow clones right in pure cow manure. That just fascinates the hell out of me. That knowledge is not widely known in the tropical fruit industry. Because I know y'all want a hermaphrodite MB tree that you can't seem to get. I have a lot growing now because I started my cuttings in pure cow manure, and now I have several trees that are growing successfully in ground because I transplanted them in ground. I saw the roots. I opened it up. I didn't really do a good video on showing the roots, but because I wanted to lift the whole thing out by itself, and you really couldn't see the roots unless you broke it apart, because I plant my pots all in one giant one hole, so all the fruit trees mixed together in one hole, and but they grow successfully. This Luke's Garcinia is finally, our Luke's Garcinias are looking good. We have 100 that I've found, Luke's Garcinias, that I planted from seed sourced directly from the source of Luke's Garcinias. So I know that that's what they are. Can't even get through here. All these trees, these oak trees, are not competing with the Luke's Garcinias. In fact, the Luke's Garcinia in this competition with other trees, I don't think that the Florida citrus large monocrop is the problem. I think that you can pack hundreds of trees into our systems here. This is probably going to create huge controversy, but I see that nature does it without any problem. So I tend to think that our farming systems can mimic nature and plant hundreds of citrus trees in the ground, but you got to manage them naturally. You can't, I mean, we're so basic in our knowledge that we teach and spread to our agronomists. All you have to do is look at the Florida citrus. You just gotta look at a picture of the Florida citrus. You don't even need to see anything else to see what they're doing wrong in Florida that causes the compaction. It's the mowing and it's the bare soil because they spray glyphosate in the tree row. Weed killer, because they think weeds compete with their trees, which is totally untrue. The weeds are there trying to fix your problem. That's how you identify what is wrong with your system, through what grows naturally. So yeah, planting lots of the citrus together would probably be okay, but you got to have the living mulch. You can't mow it, you got to stay off of it. And then what you do is you stop your chemicals. You can't use chemicals. Chemicals shut off. They shut off biological processes that enable plants. Microbiology, biological natural processes. It shuts them off, turns them off. Your nutrient packing of nitrogen and other stuff shuts off those processes, or puts them out of balance. So the whole nutrient balancing act, this is where I think I probably really piss people off. All the growers, all of them, is saying that the nutrient balancing act is what's causing your problems. You can't be deciding what the right amount of nitrogen is. It's not how it works. The microbiology will decide the right amount of nitrogen that tree needs. So until we start looking at the microbiology in the soil, little mango trees are looking good. All of the microbiology, not just the few aerobic microbes that they found. You got to look at all the microbiology, the anaerobes, the aerobes, the dual functioning aerobe, anaerobe microbiology. Start recreating the plant microbiome, soil microbiome, to coexist again in our food, because that's what's needed. And focus on stacking microbiology into your system rather than loading nutrients whether they're organic or inorganic, they are going to put your system out of balance, period. Yeah, you can get a tree to grow real fast if you give it a lot of nitrogen. But it's also going to cause it to be disease prevalent, or disease to be prevalent in that tree eventually. Because it's out of balance. Their microbiome's out of balance. That is what it's all about. So I guess the biodynamic, I mean, how else can we grow citrus here without any disease? It's like so simple. It really is. Citrus is the easiest plant to grow here at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. How they could screw it up with their teachings and their spreading of false information is kind of scary. But anyway, the Biodynamic Certifying Manager ended with they're going to do a elder review of our farm and the information I supplied them and the notes given by the in-person interview, and decide whether I can continue to be biodynamic certified. So they went through the notes, and usually when they go through the notes, they tell you before you pay the money for the thing that you're not qualified. So I don't know. It's biodynamic certification is extremely hard, and I see it's kind of personal now, and you can't really piss people off, and you can't have too loud of a voice, I see, unless you're Dr. Mercola or some famous winery in biodynamics, probably because that's where they get the most of their money. So they've been influenced by the money is what's happened. That's just what I see. I'm just stating what I see, and I have a little experience in it because I got witness firsthand being slapped down. It started off, when are you going to start the lecture circuit? I am never going to do the lecture circuit, period. So I know that there was some sort of discussion with the biodynamic people over, obviously, my videos. That's the only way they could have found out all the information. I asked her if she watched them, and she said yes. I don't get any support from the biodynamic people. I never have. It's about community, but there is no biodynamic community here in Florida. I'm trying to create one, and now basically that's on hold. I don't know. I want to move our knowledge of biological farming forward, and I want to fix Florida. And if you're watching, I know that you want to do the same stuff. I feel for you. I feel the same way. I'm just trying to speak up because that's what's needed. Too many people are silent. They continue to use their Miracle Grow or whatever synthetic fertilizer they use and expect other people to cure what ails the earth. What ails the earth is the silence and the continued pollution that people use. So I planted all those seeds in groups, and I know I did one here at this mulberry tree. The cashew and the moringa and the sugar apple, and I forget what other seeds, but I see that the only one coming up is the moringa right there, which is fine. I'm not sure why the cashew never came up. You just never know. Not all seeds propagate or grow. Maybe it's waiting. I'm not sure, but I got a moringa growing there. So at least I got one. If I would have just planted the cashew, I wouldn't have had any. So that's why I plant multiple seeds in a hole. I have the seeds, so why not? I mean, I have more seeds than I ever knew what was possible to have. I mean, this place is starting to produce, and I can see with it, like within 5 years, it's going to be a lot of work. Hopefully I'll be able to grow organically with it and absorb all the work. I do have my lifelong partner, 36 years, that is going to retire for the third time in 18 months, and I'm going to have them take on the store and the seeds, because if I take that on top of all this other stuff I do, well, that means that I'm going to have to do it forever. So I kind of threw that on him. We did not plan on selling fruit until our 7th year, because it takes a while to get up to production, but we were able to sell fruit this year, and I imagine we're going to be selling more fruit. I think I have some black sapote fruit that I'm going to sell, but I'm going to have him do the store for the seeds, and that's why it hasn't been done. Because if I take it on, that means I'll be responsible for shipping and the seeds and the store and everything, on top of picking the fruit, growing the fruit, managing the trees, managing the farm, doing all the biodynamic certifications, the organic certification, the real organic certification, which takes time and money. So that's why that stuff hasn't been done. I just don't want to start doing it, because will be my job on top of all the other stuff. So I kind of threw that on him. So 18 months. We do own frogvalleyfarm.com and juicyfruitjungle.com. So we have the website domain, and eventually, hopefully, we will be selling biodynamic fruit again. I'm still biodynamic certified. I still do everything that you need to do to be certified, which is spray 500, spray 501, which I feel I need an exemption for, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a mask on and do it. Hopefully it won't give me any lung cancer. I've made biodynamic compost, so I have done everything that qualifies us to be biodynamic. It's those 3 things. Once you're certified, that's all you have to do. Make biodynamic compost, which includes putting the preps in 502 through 507, spraying 500, which is the horn manure, and spraying 501, which is the silica. You only have to do it one time. Just have to do it. They tried to tell me I had to do the biodynamic compost on every compost pile, but I don't do that. And I do add biodynamic compost to every compost pile, so I kind of feel like the biodynamic compost is being made still, even though I don't apply the preps to every pile. Anyway, that's all you have to do to be biodynamic certified. Once you get certification, now I have somebody trying to tell me that I can't be biodynamic certified if I apply anything other than, because I only apply manure and biodynamic compost. So they're telling me I can only be biodynamic certified if I only apply biodynamic compost. Anyway, y'all know I ranted about that long enough. It's looking good. My bananas are looking good. They're, I got to divide some of the corms because more than one is coming up, but this is a ditch that, we get like lots of rain here. But it's only a foot across. used to be like 20 feet across. See, our ginger is growing up, and everything is looking good. But it's really hard to be different. A different type of grower. It's really, really, really hard. It's like everyone is like trying to like call you a quack, or even the biodynamic people are telling you you're doing stuff wrong. Me. But I know by the amount of fruit that our little trees set, you know, without water. I see this tree broke because all the fruit, I see it's too much fruit, so the branch broke. This is the Hazia, which everyone says doesn't produce a lot. Well, it produces a lot here. Cepedias is like such a simple tree. So yeah, I have to divide these. I'm gonna do that this winter when it's cooled off. So I dig these two out and I cut off the top, and then I just take the corm and I bury it upside down and plant it. And these bananas, they've never been watered. I planted them during the drought. They don't seem to have any problem. They're very thick and healthy. It hasn't been that many months, and those are growing just from a rhizome, not anything else. There was no top part on it, so I see lots of bananas. It looks like I can probably plant at least 50 more bananas, so I think I planted close to 100 the beginning of the year, and you know, around January, you know, give or take 2 months, I will divide and plant 50 more. So I have somebody that wants to buy all our biodynamic bananas up a grocery store, regenerative grocery store in Pittsburgh it is. I need to check and see how that's going. So they were gonna open, I think, in another year. So in another year, these bananas are all gonna be up and producing, along with our other bananas, which I probably should divide some of those too. And we're gonna have a lot of fruit to sell. I mean, I did the math on our mangoes alone at 250 pounds and 350 mangoes was like $2 million a year at $5 a pound. So it can be profitable. You know, we can put these mangoes into the old citrus groves and not even water them. You don't have to water mangoes. I know that people find that hard to believe, but mangoes do just fine without watering if you focus on soil health. Everyone knows the basics of soil health. The number one rules for me is to stay off of it, and that kind of takes care of all the rest. We have citrus here, and I'm kind of surprised that nobody in Florida is even interested in looking at our organic citrus. You know, I just piss too many people off, and my methods are so far out of line with what is taught and what's accepted here in Florida that if they ignore it, they don't have to deal with it. So that's what's going on, and I'm kind of surprised that there isn't more intelligent life here in Florida. The intelligent life in the soil is what we try to grow, because the intelligent life above ground is kind of lacking here, from what I've been able to see. They'll pay attention though when we start producing 2 million pounds or $2 million worth of mangoes a year without watering them or doing anything else for that matter. Just picking them. kind of scares me a little bit. That's why I thought about selling the place, but at this point, everyone that's come up, you know, they have not shown me any money, and I don't think I could replicate this again in my lifetime. Just the seeds are so hard to get now, and the land is so expensive now, and I just have so many fruit trees here that, you know, I've consistently been, you know, 3,000 fruit trees at least. All different types, all the rare stuff, you know, the giant longan type fruit, the kolak. I have multiple trees of that. It grows without water here. Most of all of our seed grown trees are being grown without water. All of our citrus is being grown without water. All of our mangoes are being grown without water. We don't water any tree when we plant it. I never have. I think that you can stock lots of fruit trees, even a monocrop, because monocrops have been shown to have disease suppressive soils. So I think that a large, you know, well, I mean, first of all, I don't understand why anybody would want to plant that many citrus, because there's just not any money in it. Maybe that's because of the citrus management has created a valueless fruit. But I do know that, you know, you can plant the achachas right next to the citrus and the other fruit right next to the citrus. It doesn't matter. You want, because of the Florida sand, you want that carbon from all those roots in the soil. Forget about nitrogen. Focus on biology. You only need to apply small amounts. I mean, the biodynamic compost has shown that. You only need tiny amounts of biology. I think maybe they wanted me to just do biodynamic compost, since I do all these videos and have been promoting biodynamics, so that they can say, look what biodynamics alone does. But that's somebody else's experiment to have, not mine. I had to figure out how to grow this by myself, how to do these tropical fruit trees by myself, because I got zero help from anybody else. I got run off the forums, you know, the tropical fruit forum. As somebody that didn't know what they were doing, and what I was doing wasn't true or wasn't happening. And so the rebranding efforts by others is why I started making these videos, to show what was the truth. So yeah, the biodynamic preps probably could grow tropical fruit. Biodynamic compost alone probably could grow the tropical fruit trees. But I think you're probably limiting the amount of fruit you could get by not having the diversity of the raw cow manure, the raw zebu manure. I can't say this for sure because I use both. And I'm going to continue to use the raw zebu manure, because this whole orchard floor is being grown to run our zebus through it. Everyone's, oh, what about when the trees grow? Well, who knows? I might be dead. And I'm not going to live forever. It's an organic changing situation that you morph into. Like a aerobic, anaerobic, morphological microbe. I just have to grow into it. I have to grow into being able to process a lot of fruit. I would think colleges would want to send an intern here, but I think I pissed off everyone too much. So, ignoring what I'm doing, is how they deal with that. But probably an intern would be good. I could probably use an intern. I don't know. I know I could teach an intern a lot of stuff. Somebody that was into tropical fruit. Just because of all the knowledge I have learned. You know, I'm self-taught. I do lots of research, though. I don't just look at the studies done by the colleges. I look at the molecular biology, the quantum biology studies, the National Institute of Health. The colleges tend to have just kind of some stuff that you can look at and see that it wasn't even worth doing the study just by looking at what they're doing here in Florida. So if they're mowing the lawn, they're saying mow between the rows and have it cleared. I don't even need to look past that, because in Florida, that's what causes compaction in our sand. So that study can just be bypassed by me. I don't know. I just seem to have a intuition on growing here in Florida, and I think it's because of the healthy food I eat. The food I eat from my system, I think, has helped this. Anyway, this is Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about stuff that's on my mind and share it with people, because somebody can get some glimmer of truth from this and apply it to their system. And all you people that are listening, we can turn Florida into a tropical fruit Eden, because I have people come over here that say this is like Eden. It truly is. Florida could become Eden. Anyway, have a good day.